I convinced my parents to have an intervention for my brother. The intervention went sideways when my brother got angry, and he roasted everyone. Now, my secret is out. What I'm about to share happened over a month ago, and nothing was funny about it then. Now, it cracks me up and makes me cringe whenever I think about it. I still live with my parents, and Christianity plays a significant role in my family. I'm unsure if I believe what they believe, but one thing is sure, my brother believed there was only one God. Substances. At some point in his life, getting high was no longer about having fun, it was about feeding an addiction. When he started stealing from my family to support his substance habit, that's when my dad called the cops and had him arrested. My dad's plan was not to send my brother to prison, he was just buying time to come up with another solution. He called a family meeting, and we brainstormed. Besides praying and hoping that a higher power magically made my brother stop using substances, rehab was the next best thing. My dad wanted to drag my brother to the nearest rehab center and force him to check in. I suggested that we try an intervention just like the ones on TV where the loved ones confronted the substance addict with letters they wrote to show how much they care and hopefully inspire the addict to seek professional help. My family agreed to do the intervention based on my passionate pitch. We wrote our letters and waited until my brother got released from jail the following day. When my brother entered the house, the living room was occupied by family members, church members, a few of my brother's friends, and ex-girlfriends. I never expected my parents to invite the whole town, but they all were there. My mom explained to my brother what was happening before volunteering to be the first person to read a letter. My brother was not about that life. He told my mom to stop reading and allow him to go upstairs, or he would get upset and say something he couldn't take back. My mom kept reading, which prompted my brother to roast the poop out of all of us. He made fun of my mom for being addicted to Botox and always running on the treadmill with her arms straight down. He asked my dad what God thinks about him paying for porn. He accused me of sucking another guy's pee-pee and pointed to the person who owned that pee-pee. He was right. He advised my uncle to lose 200 pounds before trying to save anyone else's life. He said his ex-girlfriend's belly button looked like a butthole, which was the real reason he broke up with her. It continued until an argument broke out between my brother and everyone else. If my brother was not the tallest person in the room, I guess someone would have punched him in the face long ago. Luckily, it didn't go that far. My brother eventually went upstairs and didn't come down until no one left but my parents and I. It was awkward for all of us. My dad and I could not look at each other for the rest of that week, and what made it even worse was that neither of us had denied what my brother had said about us. It was never mentioned again. Since then, my brother has agreed to go to rehab. He's been clean for 22 days and seems to be doing better. My mom stopped using the treadmill and ran in the park early in the mornings when none of us were awake to see if she was moving her arms. It's still unclear if my dad watches porn, let alone pays for it. I'm dating a girl, and she knows I've sucked a pee-pee. I can't provide updates for the rest of the people my brother insulted. I think they're all done with the drama in my family because I don't see much of them anymore, lol. Update: a couple of years ago, I shared a post about my family ambushing my brother with an intervention and hoping that he would hear us all out and go to rehab to treat his substance problem. However, my brother used the intervention to roast everyone he made eye contact with, including me. I got roasted for sucking another guy's pee-pee in front of my family, who had no idea I was attracted to guys. Since then, my brother has been clean and living with my parents. I've moved out, but I visited my parents a few days ago to introduce them to my girlfriend. For the record, my parents pretended that the intervention never happened, meaning that everything my brother said about us that day never took place. I automatically followed their lead and continued to be straight for the most part while low-key being bi on the side because not being open about uncomfortable things was something I sadly inherited from my mom and dad. I informed my brother that my girlfriend had no idea that I liked girls and guys, but I was planning to tell her when I was ready, so I would appreciate it if he didn't go there when the two of us naturally do our big brother little brother banter thing. My brother said I had nothing to worry about. Those were his words to me when we were messaging each other. As soon as my girlfriend and I showed up at the house to meet my family, my brother was in the middle of an intense argument with my parents in the living room. I didn't know what they were arguing about, but I repeatedly said hello until my family eventually noticed me standing behind them with my girlfriend. My mom and dad instantly went from being upset at my brother to being warm and welcoming towards me and my girlfriend. When my parents turned their backs towards my brother to greet me, he did a slow clap and congratulated my parents for never failing to drop everything every time their favorite son came home to suck the pee-pee of his big brother's best friend. My brother walked out when he said that and left me standing next to my girlfriend, who was now looking at me like what the fuck. I had no choice but to have a talk with my girlfriend afterward and confess that I did indeed suck a few pee-pees in the past. I did my best to explain to her that I've only had serious relationships with girls, whereas it was never more than fun with guys. My girlfriend wanted me to show her my brother's best friend so she could see what type of guy I liked. I showed her a random photo of him on my brother's Instagram. She asked many uncomfortable questions after looking at the photo, like who was at the top and bottom, who was more attractive between him and her, etc. Needless to say, I had to proceed with caution every time I opened my mouth. Thanks, big bro.